Hello everyone, I'm Hyphaive, and today we're going to have a little chat about gaming, like just in general.
Greetings, sister. You look weary.
So,
Something to help you relax.
all
if
drug
you're
dealers
interested.
aside, yeah, where to start on the state of gaming? So a little bit of background real quick. So I started gaming relatively late in my life. Like, generally speaking, yes, we did have a computer from quite an early age, because my father was like an inventor and like basically was always super keyed in on the next big tech. Like, is quite ahead of his time in a lot of things. But point is, we did have a computer a lot earlier than most people would have. But as far as gaming's concerned, wasn't really much of a gamer when I was younger. Like, most of the time the computers that we had back then were so terrible that playing games on them were not much of a... They weren't much of an option. Also, didn't have much in the way of money either, so affording things that were not bare necessities was kind of not on the table all that much. But yeah, so some of the earliest titles I played were Diablo, Abe's Odyssey, what else? Obviously those crappy games that you'd play on the, what's it called? Like on floppy disks and stuff. Weird space ones where you're a cylinder and you shoot things. But yeah, generally speaking, I didn't get into gaming until much later in life. So I grew up in the 90s, and so I do remember seeing the internet arrive and all of that stuff. Worth noting as well that for the gaming side of things, Jesus Christ, the wind outside is just howling. Oh, there it goes again. Yeah, so in regards to gaming and to like the state of the gaming industry, I've definitely seen the golden era of gaming come and go at this point. Because once upon a time, game studios were just pumping out absolute, just mad titles. If you go back to, say, 2011, hell, anywhere between 2007 to 2014, like, fantastic years for gaming. But that's over 10 years ago. In some cases, that's getting closer to 15 years ago now, if not 16. So it's kind of sad the state we find the gaming industry in generally now, because long are the days of producing a game like Diablo or a game like Abe's Odyssey, something that genuinely changes how the gaming landscape looks. Well, those days are long, long gone now. Because Abe's Odyssey is the first game to actually implement particle graphics. It's also one of the first games to have proper 3D animated cutscenes. Just a little reminder, that's 1997. So Doom came out like, what, a year or two before that. Diablo came out in technically 1996. It came out on the 31st of December 1996, so it's still technically 1996. So we're talking about games. In the case of Diablo, Diablo is literally 30 years old. On the last day of this year. So yeah, a lot of people today that will be playing games are not going to have the experience of playing that back then because they simply weren't alive. It's very much a millennial experience, that one. But going back to the gaming industry of today, yeah, where to begin? So, a little anecdote. Yesterday I went to see a friend of mine, good friend, known him for, well, not too far from 20 years at this point, come to think of it. And, yeah, we played some PlayStation 4. Bear in mind, I was never much of a PlayStation guy. Well, you know, my friends had PlayStations when I was growing up. Played Crash Bandicoot at friends' houses. Played Tony Hawk's, all of the good stuff, all the classics, right? But I hadn't played enormous amounts of Star Wars Battlefront. So we played a bit of Star Wars Battlefront. It was fantastic. Had a great time. It was very refreshing. However, the main thing that struck me was the fact that when we went to play the game, one, it was asking, oh, do you want to go online? Do you want to go online? Do you want to go online? And it's like, no, we don't want to go online. We just want to do couch co-op. Yeah, I know, right? Couch co-op, something of a relic of the past at this point. I wish it wasn't, because in my opinion, consoles, the main thing that they had going for them was the fact that they had couch co-op, and it was easier to do couch co-op on a console than it was on a PC. However, it's become increasingly difficult to actually find just a game that does couch co-op at all now. I know that Time Splitters Rewind, which I've featured on the channel, that does actually have couch co-op these days, which, you know, is almost amazing considering that, you know, it's releasing into the current climate of gaming. Other than that, yeah, we had loads of fun playing Star Wars Battlefront. It took ages to update. Fortunately, that game does have a mode where you can actually play while you can play a very basic version of it whilst it's updating in the background. So like the first mission over and over again, pretty much. Like it's effectively a demo. And yeah, that was quite fun because we just did levels and lives because we didn't have multiplayer yet. And once it all updated to a playable state, it was great, but there wasn't much in the way of content. So it took the game to we had to reboot the console a couple of times, and like it was updating all in the background without us realizing. And what ended up happening was that the game eventually did give us the rest of the game, and when that happened, yeah, it was much more fun. We could play, you know, we could play as the Roly Boys, the Droideka, from the Phantom Menace. Good times. I know people might hate me for saying this, but I do genuinely like the Phantom Menace. Okay, let's keep away from that ogre. Is that vampires? That does look like vampires. Right, we're just going to avoid the vampires and the mud crabs. But yeah, going back to the whole gaming industry thing, and looking at the state of games in this day and age, it was made very clear that things were just in a better state before, because you didn't have to go and mess around getting 100 gigabytes, because like honestly I don't think that it was, I mean yes, it was a very pretty game, it was fun to play, but I don't think the game was worth 100 gigabytes of storage, or 115 or whatever. It's wasteful, and it's not like storage is growing on trees or anything. So when I look back at that game and I look back at my memories of the original Battlefront and Battlefront 2, I think you probably have a better value for money getting the original. You know, so because the original you would just put the disc in and off you go. You know, you can play as a Roly Boy. Off you go. Job done. Also found that the ships were an absolute nightmare. Anyway, less talking about Star Wars stuff, because Star Wars is one of those franchises that's basically dead to me these days. So it was nice to be able to play a game that actually was enjoyable in the Star Wars franchise with a friend. But regarding the state of the gaming industry itself, I think developers have put too much emphasis on, I know, it's like beating a dead horse, or dead horse armor in this case. See what I did there. So, yeah, flogging a dead horse. The issue with it is that the gaming industry... Oh, there's a wolf. With the way the gaming industry's sort of going these days, you can't really you can't just play a game. They just rely on everything. They'll release a crappy version of the game that's broken, and then they'll be like, oh, we'll just patch it in later and add more stuff, or they'll even do even scummier things of going like, oh, well, we've made the game, but we're actually withholding a bunch of stuff in the game, so that you only get access to the full game. Oh, this bloody thing's trying to eat me again. You only get access to the full game once you pay for all of the DLC that they've actively withheld from you. Like, that's content. A lot of the time I see content that's like, that should have been in the base game. Why is that a DLC? And why is it releasing like a couple of months after the game itself is released? It doesn't make any sense. Well, unless you look at where money is and all of that stuff. That's another point. Microtransactions are an absolute scourge. And don't get me wrong, I've bought my fair share of them over the course of the years. It all started with Borderlands skins, and eventually I played 12,000 hours of Path of Exile, and as you can imagine, 12,000 hours of Path of Exile, you're probably going to get a few stash tabs, and maybe the odd skin here and there once in a while, so it does set you back a bit of money. For a free-to-play game, or a free game, you do end up paying quite a lot for it in the long run. But, yeah, generally speaking, the gaming industry is in a bit of a mess. So, I do get often, like, people asking me, you know, oh man, why are you still playing Skyrim? That game's like 14 years old. Play a different game, bro. You know, it's like, why don't you just play something different? You know, or I'll get some friends be like, oh, you're always playing the same stuff. Why do you keep doing this? You know there are other games, right? You don't have to keep playing the same game. It's like, I'm aware there are other games. I am fully aware of that. Like, I have a reasonable game collection on this PC right now. It's just that there's only some games that I want to play all the time. One of them is Skyrim. Like, Skyrim is definitely one of those games that just, it's not infinitely replayable, but it's not too far, especially when you factor in mods. Like, without mods, I would say that it's not the most replayable thing. You could probably get 2,000 to 3,000 hours out of Skyrim without mods, with just the DLC. Okay, so we've got Hyphaive over there. We're just going to avoid all of the dangerous stuff and just go for a walk. So yeah, it's a bit bright, isn't it? With Skyrim, how to describe it? I mean, Skyrim feels like home. You know, I know most of the places in the game. Oh crap! Whoa! Spiders out of nowhere. They are very fast. So, yeah, I feel at home in this game. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that realistically I've done time and time again. This is partly why I do the challenge runs and stuff, because I want to have a new experience, because I have played it a lot. But my problem is, right now, if Bethesda were to release literally tomorrow The Elder Scrolls 6, I don't know if I'd play it. I genuinely don't know if I would want to play The Elder Scrolls 6 right now, because it's just been too long. Absolutely storming it out there. But yeah, The Elder Scrolls 6, like, who cares? Like, I've seen what they've done with Fallout 4. I've recently downloaded Fallout 4 to take a look in the guts of that thing, because I wanted to do some stuff with animation, to be able to port the animations from Fallout 4 to Skyrim. And that is maybe something I'll manage to do one day, but we'll see. But mostly, one of the things I've noticed is the way they implement the bodies and the characters and the customization. And I genuinely find Fallout 4 extremely lackluster. I played it a little bit at a friend's house on his Xbox and stuff, and it was kind of it's okay, I guess. It's kind of meh, really. But the issue that I find with all of this is I don't like the implementation of stuff. I don't like the weird weight slider triangle bullshit. I think Skyrim is the last game on Bethesda where you have the, weight slider 0 to 1. And yes, some people might not like that, but I just don't like the triple one. And as a mod maker, mod author myself, dealing with that, I look to Elder Scrolls 6 and I think, okay, well we know for a fact that Starfield is using an updated version of the Fallout 4 engine, right? It's its own new version for Starfield, but at the end of the day, the Fallout 4 style of things is what we're going to be seeing for Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, Starfield 2, if they ever bother making that crap. And yeah, I don't have any faith that Bethesda can make a good game ever again. They're too big. Okay, there's been a giant somewhere. As a studio, they're just too big. There's too many people working there, and it's a mess. Who's this guy? Farmer. Okay. Hello, Farmer. So I think I'm just stuck with Skyrim for now. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll play Valheim. Valheim is great, and hopefully it gets more content. And that's a game I'm looking forward to modding when it gets its 1.0. So I want to do everything in the vanilla game first, and once that's done, I will move on from there. Oh crap! Oh, what's up with those particles? Those look bad. All right, let's ignore the giant ice demon thing. Right, so let's go to Dawnstar and walk along the coast while we talk about the stuff. So I don't have any faith in Bethesda. Rockstar is a weird one because I haven't played a Rockstar game in years and years. My favourite Rockstar game was The Warriors, and I had a soft spot for GTA 3, Vice City as well, but I did play a reasonable amount of San Andreas, but for me that's where I stopped playing Rockstar games. After San Andreas I just had no interest in GTA 4, GTA 5, GTA Online, any of that crap. I know that they're good, but I don't know, they feel uncanny to me. And also, I just don't really like the way the GTA games play. Like, I don't like the control scheme. I think it's awkward and clunky. And this is coming from someone who plays Skyrim, the well-known clunky game, really. So yeah, Rockstar I have no faith in. What else do I have no faith in? I have very little faith in... Oh, that was it. So, I don't know if you guys know this about me, because I've not really shown any of this on the channel, but I was a massive, and I mean massive, Borderlands fan. I even did a cosplay of Vaughn from Tales from the Borderlands, Comic-Con 2016 in London. It was good. But yeah, pretty much. Long story short, I hate 2K, and I hate Gearbox. They're horrible. Well, it's Gearbox specifically. I hate Randy Pitchford. I hate what they've done to Borderlands. And don't get me wrong, there were a lot of issues with Borderlands even from the beginning, right? It's not a perfect game series from the get-go. There's a lot of really good stuff with it, but there's a lot of shit as well. But the problem these days is that there's just too much shit. There's too much Randy Pitchford, and it's just a mess. I I don't know where to start with it all, because realistically, yeah, I mean, for starts, Randy Pitchford, just a giant piece of shit. We don't really need to elaborate on the Borderlands 4 stuff. I mean, Borderlands 3 introducing like extremely aggressive DRM and going like you can only play the game X amount of times per day, because I guess we're children and we need to be told when to stop playing the game. And like literally butchering the storyline, and actually destroying characters that I genuinely care about. I know that they're fictional characters and all that, but like you do get attached to your playable characters, and what they did to Maya in Borderlands 3 is unforgivable. Just how they dealt with it, you know, and just like, oh yeah, oh by the way, you know that character that you love? Yeah, just unceremoniously deleted. It's like, oh, thanks for that. It's not like I put like 1,000 hours into that, or whatever. So yeah, I'm in a strange place at the moment where I look at a lot of the franchises that I used to enjoy. You know, it's a bit like Red Letter Media with that quote, like, how does it feel to watch every franchise you cared about like get destroyed and hollowed out, or something along those lines, and it's exactly that. Is that Stormcloaks? That looks like Stormcloaks versus Imperials versus Spiders. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that. So, God, the wind's as bad in real life as it is in the game. Yeah, I mean, I just had to get some of this stuff off my chest, because I genuinely think that the state of the industry is a complete mess, right? It's just complete garbage now. They're asking us to pay 70, 80, even 90 quid for games that aren't even finished. They're like, oh yeah, you buy the game. Buy our game, it's a premium game for premium gamers. Hashtag Randy Pitchford. You know, it's like, no. Fix your fucking game. Like, what is this shit? Oh, why are you still playing Skyrim? Yeah, because new games are shit. Like, I'm sick of the new games. There are a couple of titles in my library on Steam which I genuinely have buyer's remorse over. Like, strong buyer's remorse. Like, what would one of them be? Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Was convinced by a friend to get it, got it, played it once, never want to play it again. In my opinion, minutes of fun, and barely a video game. But you know, some of you might like it. But it's one of those things of like, I would say, unless you're a streamer or that you're doing content with it or something like that, just don't bother with it. But that's my personal take. Another one would be Terratech Worlds. It was kind of fun to begin with, but then it's just grind, and I can't be dealing with grind games anymore. I've put 12,000 hours into Path of Exile. That's enough. That's enough. That's too much even. Like, it allowed me to survive the pandemic, because, well, all of the work that I was doing event work, and yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but when there's a pandemic, there's not much in the way of event work. So I ended up playing a lot of Path of Exile, and learned a lot of stuff from doing that. But nowadays, I don't have time to put thousands and thousands of hours into a game, because what I want to be doing is I want to be making content. I want to be producing videos. I want to be playing games I actually want to play. I want to be going on adventures. Maybe doing some multiplayer stuff on stream, for videos. I have projects, and they don't involve having a massive time sink into a grind game that realistically doesn't give me anything back. Which is another one of the answers I have to people asking me, why do you still play Skyrim? You know, why are you constantly modding Skyrim? And it's a very simple answer. I'm learning new skills. So when I'm modding this game, I'm learning how to do texture work. You know, I have learned how to do texture work for the most part. You know, how to literally make textures, how to make sure it works with the UV wrap. You know, how to actually add meshes. I've learned a lot more about file structure. Like generally, I've learned a lot of stuff which I would classify as transferable skills, and I don't feel that that's the case when I play a game like Path of Exile. Because yes, Path of Exile, you learn about like economies and stuff, and how to flip things and how to make money. You do actually learn about that stuff. You absolutely do. However, what you don't do is, if you're spending, I don't know, it has happened for me to spend 70 plus hours in a week playing that game. What you don't get out of that is the ability to be functional in the real world, and you don't get any skills that are actually useful. That's just the truth of it. You end up with a bunch of skills which are... Oh, there's an ogre after me. Sorry, Shrek. I gotta get going. So, yeah, you don't end up with useful skills from playing a game like Path of Exile. Yeah, you might learn a bit more about mathematics and equations, and if you get into the nitty-gritty, you might even go there and go, oh, I'm gonna either reverse engineer or like try and break the code, or whatever, you know, that you might get into that stuff. It might inspire you to get into game dev some other way, but the problem is, in terms of immediate skills, you don't get anything out of it. Because you're playing the game. And for a long time I was playing Path of Exile because I had burnt out on modding Skyrim, because I felt like the game was constantly in a state of work in progress, and ultimately I stopped having fun modding it simply because it felt like work. And playing something like Path of Exile is like, well, it's a game. It's a finished game. Yes, it's constantly evolving. It's a work in progress, and they patch things and all this and all that. But it felt like, oh, I just play the game and off I go, right? I don't have to be the one being the developer for it. So yeah, the problem is, after a while, like Path of Exile was a very good game, but I don't think it is anymore. I think Path of Exile 2 and The Vision has kind of ruined that game in a lot of ways. And nowadays, I might play a little bit in a league. You know, a little bit could constitute a few hundred hours, just bear that in mind, or like a couple of hundred hours. But I don't feel like investing thousands of hours and getting a character to level hunt. I don't want to be at that point where I'm getting a level 100 character at the end of every league and all of this, and you know, or getting the headhunter or whatever it is. I don't feel like grinding that game anymore. I've done my time, and I just don't want it to consume my life like it did. So I'd much rather be putting time into the video editing, the creation of content, the creation of mods, you know, rather than wasting my life on a game like that. Because at least with this, you know, hopefully I'm entertaining for you guys. Like, yeah, my channel's got a long way to go. I still need to grow the channel quite a bit, and I have started the whole Twitch thing, which I am gonna be doing some stuff on Twitch soon. Because I did it basically, because I'm still quite new to this, like I make some basic mistakes. Like right now I'm having some issues with recording, because I know that I've got audio issues. My mic might not be the clearest, but also there's some times where I have overlapping audio and stuff like that, and that's you could say it's a skill issue, but it's also the fact that I can't figure out how to have more than one audio channel output with the recording. So there's a lot of stuff which is just technical issues, right? And I'll get better everything as I go. But Anyway, tangent aside, because this is an off the cuff kind of video. I'm not scripting anything. I'm just sort of venting and ranting, or just kind of just chatting about the various stuff, right? So yeah, when it comes to gaming, I don't know. I don't feel like there's any particularly compelling games out there for me right now, other than the ones I already play, and that's kind of sad. I do have some plans as well. I have obviously more playthroughs for Skyrim. I'm also going to, at some point, I have some friends that also have Skyrim, and very much would like to get Skyrim together working, because I think it would be quite fun. But yeah, new games. There's no new games. Not that I could afford the new games. And then comes, yeah, obviously this is one of the other issues with gaming now, is that don't know if you guys have noticed, but RAM is completely crazy. I was planning on upgrading my my RAM in my computer a while ago, and funnily enough, it was just about the time in October or something like that when the prices started going completely crazy. So it's like, oh well, I guess I'm stuck on my 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM then, because I built a new PC back in April, and I'm so glad I did it back when I did that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to afford one right now. Yeah, between the price of what's it called, RAM, GPUs. Soon it's also going to be SSD storage, because it's the same people making that. So yeah, you think, okay, well, if I can't afford games and if I can't afford the actual systems to play them on, like, it's kind of either a dead hobby or it's just a very expensive niche one, isn't it? So yeah, I guess I'll just make sure to keep this rig in the best condition I physically can, because otherwise, yeah, it's destination fucked, right? But yeah, so I'm not sure what else to say on the topic. I just, yeah, I look around to the various companies and I just don't see much in the way of hope. So I'll just keep making the content I make, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, hopefully you've enjoyed my little rant, chat, vent, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, yeah, a little thing before I go. I have got a Twitch channel which I've started working on, which is twitch.tv/Hyphaive, so just like the YouTube channel. And I'm going to start streaming at least once a week there. I'm thinking maybe Wednesdays are the right day to stream, but basically I'm going to stream whenever I can. I'll probably do slightly different content on the Twitch streams than I do on the YouTube channel. So if you want to see me actually working on mods, so like retextures, doing glow maps, like literally doing outfits in Outfit Studio, making like rigging creatures, doing all sorts of stuff. Like, if you want to see all of that stuff, I'm probably going to do most of that stuff on Twitch itself, because, well, aside for certain things, because obviously, oh, those are vampires. I can recognise them a mile away. So yeah, in terms of Twitch, yeah, we're gonna start doing the Twitch stuff and try and do slightly different content there. What's that over there? What's that over here? I don't recognise these places. Oh, it's Solitude. Yeah, so with that, with all of that said and done, guys, if you like the stuff I make, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, and you know it. I know this video is not like the most profound deep dive. It's not like a video essay. It's literally just me walking around Skyrim as a Dremora and talking about my thoughts on the gaming industry and you know my own personal thoughts, my own experiences as well. But yeah, just generally, given the state of things, I feel like I needed to talk about it. Just at the very least for myself, right? There will be more stuff coming on the channel pretty shortly. So obviously, the Bookworm series, I'm just going to clarify the Bookworm series real quick. If you're not enjoying the Bookworm series, don't worry, I'm going to be making new playthroughs relatively shortly. But the Bookworm series is set for about 40 chapters in total. So chapter 23 should come out tomorrow. So tomorrow being the, I think the 12th of January 2026. So they're still set for one episode per week. If I can start producing them faster, I will up that to 2 chapters per week, because I'd very much like to get through all of the content for the Bookworm. But yeah, anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and catch you next time. Bye bye.